ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DDP. My name is Mr. Schwartz. I'll be your instructor. In today's lesson, we'll be talking about the design brief, constraints, and you'll be designing your own personalized logo. Let's get started. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what is a design brief. Before we even get into that, in your engineer's notebook, the design brief will be the very first thing that you put in every new entry. Every assignment will be a brand new entry in your notebook, and the design brief will be the very first thing at the top of that. So a design brief is a document for a design project developed by a person or team, the designer or design team, in consultation with the client customer. They outline the deliverables and scope of the project, including any products or works, functions and aesthetics, timing, and budget. So this is a generalized plan of the entire project. It's a summary, really, of what both the designer and the client that they work for have agreed upon. It should identify the problem identification. Every thing that you're doing is problem solving. So we want to, that the problem that we're trying to solve should be clearly stated. The client, who you're working for, your client's needs have to be considered in conjunction with your own expertise. The target consumer, if you're designing a product, you have to have a knowledge of who you're designing it for and what they might like or dislike. The design statement. The design statement will tell you more specifically what it is that you need to design. And constraints. Constraints are limitations on your project. This could have anything to do with the amount of time, the amount of materials, the amount of cost. All of those are constraints on your project. Okay, so what is a logo? We've all seen logos everywhere we look. They are meant and designed to, for the person looking at them to think of a very specific brand or company or business. Nike over here, let's see, is one of the more famous ones, Apple, Ford. It's a symbol or visual representation of something larger, like a business, corporation, or identity. What are constraints? As I mentioned before, constraints are limitations on the design. These may be materials available, the cost of the materials, the amount of time they have to develop the solution, etc. Personal logo design. This is your design brief, and you will put this in exactly as it's stated here. It will be your second entry. The problem identification. At the beginning of each school year, the teachers at Brooklyn Tech have a hard time remembering students' names. True story. Client, Brooklyn Technical High School. Target consumer, teachers at Brooklyn Technical High School. If you could solve this problem, then every teacher in the school would be forever in your debt and very grateful. Design statement. Design a logo that will represent who you are and your interests. Constraints. The logo must contain your name. The logo must fit within a shape of your choice, so it must be self-contained. The logo must convey to the viewer at least 5 different things about you in addition to your name. So how you solve this is completely up to you, but when we look at it, it should be clear to the viewer what they are, and we shouldn't have to guess too much, okay? So clarity is a big part of this. So these are logos that tell us exactly who you are, not exactly who you are, but tell us 5 things about who you are. Okay. Okay, so you can use both traditional and digital mediums. It could be something that you do separately on a piece of paper, and then photograph. If you are going to photograph your artwork, remember to do it, make sure that it's very well lit and it's a good photograph. This can be anything you want, color pencil, marker, paint. In addition, you could use Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, or any other design program that you wish. And whatever you come up with will be inserted into your engineering notebook. All right, so moving on. Deliverables, this is what you're going to be responsible for. You're of course going to update your engineer's notebook table of contents as you do with each new entry. You're going to create an engineering notebook entry for the design brief and include description of how you applied the constraints. So you're going to include, in addition to the artwork that you make, a description of what your process was, how you approached these limitations and what you chose to do, and how you solved the problem. So all of this must be evident in the description, and it will be part of the overall grade. Create 4 drawings, 3 sketches, 1 for each different idea. You must come up with 3 individual and unique ideas, or it could be 1 idea and then 2 modifications to that. After that, you're going to do a final drawing. Final drawings are different from sketches in that final drawings have the main lines are inked, and then the construction lines, which are done in pencil, are erased, and then the final drawings are either fully shaded or fully colored, or both. So again, that's going to be 4 drawings, 3 sketches that can just be loose, no color, no shading, and then a final drawing. Each of the sketches should be annotated with a description of what you are thinking and what things are. The final does not need that. Okay, and like I said, a final version of the logo completed in the medium of your choice. Okay, moving on. All right, so this is an example of an engineer's notebook from a student, an analog example. You, of course, will be using your engineer notebook in Google Docs, so it'll be digital. And you can, I encourage this, put the sketches on the same page as your design brief, all right? Also, remember to include any annotations and details as you can. Okay, for those of you who are up to it, I am offering extra credit. The assignment is for you to come up with your own design brief and then solve it. And then you're going to write that design brief exactly as you did for the first 2 entries. Your brief, and it must conform to the standards of the engineer notebook. So you're basically going to come up with your own problem and then solve it, and then enter the format into your engineer's notebook the same as everything else. So if you can do that, I welcome your work and encourage you, and hope that you'll do the extra credit. Okay, so that is everything you need to know about this assignment. If you have any follow-up questions, you can reach me in the office hours. I look forward to seeing your work, and I'll see you at the next lesson. Take care.